Hello and welcome to the SC2L. If you were a fan of Captain Planet as a kid, you'll know that Heart was quite the powerful element. But where does Dong measure up in those elements? We'll soon find out as J Dong will take on Heart in a TVZ.
I truly can't wait. That would have been a great show if it was Earth, Fire, Wind, Water, Dong. That would have been a...
That character's ring would look so sick. He holds it up. It's just...
Wow, that would... It just...
Captain Planet.
Oh my god.
And then it explains to all the kids how, like, sex is actually a part of life and when a man loves a woman and all that jazz. I mean, that'd be pretty cool.
Good. It's really... It's about maturity.
Yeah.
In the bottom left-hand corner, from Team Axiom, it is Heart. And up in the top right, from Team Evil Geniuses, it is the Dong himself.
J Dong.
J Dong.
The map is Derelict Watcher, so as far as TVZ is concerned, it's interesting. Dropping is, of course, always a big theme in this matchup, and if you're challenging the third base, dropping the main is quite the distance. J Dong's a big fan of mutilating Baneling, which does kind of negate a lot of the advantage of an otherwise spread out Zerg player. Someone like a Scarlet or Nurture would have a tougher time because they tend to opt for more Roach Baneling based play. Speaking of which, that too is very common on this map. You'll notice between the natural and the third, there's a down space. You have to go down a ramp and then up a ramp to get into that third base, which means a lot of times Zergs will go heavy Roach Baneling play and try to just bust the Terran.
And that is the sort of play that I really think needs to be happening more.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people have talked about... I mean, hell, even MC was talking about in a recent blog post that there's not really much a Zerg can do but play defensive if he goes Ling Muta Baneling.
Right.
But if you go for huge Zergling Baneling numbers, I mean, the Terran can't really do much between 11 and 13 minutes. It's a big window. So I'm hoping to see less Mutalisk-focused play and a lot more attack-focused play out of the Dong.
You know, I super agree with what you're saying. I look back at a couple of GSLs ago, or WCS Premier League in Korea, and I think about some of the more successful Zerg tactics, and certainly we've seen Roach Baneling get murdered and stomped on. It is possible, as it should. It shouldn't be invincible. But yeah. I feel like the Zergs of a couple seasons ago did a better job of rotating in the cheese, the aggression, and the diversity in their composition. Things like Roach Baneling or even Ling Baneling, which, again, is not a great mid to late game composition because you have a lot of trouble with those drops. But if you do a lot of damage with that timing attack, you can position yourself in a place where, sure, you don't have the best composition, but you're advantageous in every other way, so perhaps you win from there. Because Zergs of late, in particular J Dong's EVT woes, where he gets 4-0'd by Polt at WCS NA and then 4-0'd by Bomber at WCS Season 2 Finals, we see him go Mutiling Baneling, I think it was like 7 out of 8 games, and it looked very ineffective once that 3-3 upgrade hit for the Terran.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where being stubborn helps only so much, right? You really do have to start breaking out of that if you are receiving the signals that it ain't working. So we see
Right.
J Dong going for the usual opening, and this is the period of the game where I feel like J Dong plays best. I mean, we're going to see him suffer either 1 Zergling or 0 unit casualties. There's 1 going down, and that's going to be it. That's the end of the harassment. So everything coming out of Heart is very standard, clearly poised to go for the third command center and go for that usual play.
I like this. And this is the kind of stuff that Heart brings to the table, by the way. So yeah, the Reapers, I agree with you. They're probably not going to do much in the way of damage after this, but with this bunker on the low ground, J Dong probably wants to take a third off this fairly gas unintensive opening. We can see that he is going for speed, which kind of goes against what I just said, but in a lot of different scenarios, this would mean that this third base gets delayed by quite a bit.
This is a weird play out of Heart. I mean, this just has a huge target on the head. I mean,
yeah,
you kind of can lose the Reapers in favor of just relying on the Hellions, but then why are you opening Reapers? You may as well just go straight for the Hellions and begin this contain at the same time. So a lot of Zerglings are going to pop out, surround that, and pick it off, and now suddenly there's going to be nowhere for the Reapers to run. Great surround. And where do the Reapers go at this point? They have, again, a huge target painted on their head. No micro even out of Jaedong. He's just hitting attack, and they'll find their way all the way around that Reaper.
Yeah, if these Hellions aren't careful, they too will go down. Actually, a big surround there. And the Hellions do die. Jaedong was sloppy with his queen going down earlier, but it looks like Hart will not be denied in the sloppy factor. He says, no, I can do worse than you. Just you wait and see. This Reaper does make its way up here, and actually with these cliffs, it looks like it should be safe. But 2 Hellions dying early on, it's actually a big deal, Sean. That hurts in stopping the creep spread.
And it's kind of crazy also to see that the Banshee is coming up for Hart. And we don't really see Banshees that much in this matchup anymore, but there it is. So
yeah.
Jaedong does need to have some sort of defense prepared for that. Roach Warren en route. Queen Cow chilling at 3 and not much else, so could do some damage. We never see Hellion Banshee these days.
Yeah, and you know what? We have to reach back into our memory to look at what Hellion Banshee achieved, and it was often seen on maps where the creep spread to the 3rd was a little bit more problematic. Things like a Belcher Vestige or some of those other... Well, actually, there's maps where it was worse than that, but my point is, it's not really like a super timing attack looking for the win off of this composition, but it's looking to get incremental victories, fighting back the creep, individualizing and killing queens as they're separated from the rest of the pack, forcing spore crawlers, just trying to make the Zerg spend money they otherwise would not be spending if it was just Hellions.
But at the same time, I mean, I'm trying to think about the investment that Hart is going to be making into this. I mean, he is going first for Reaper, and then for Hellion, and a Contain, and losing the Contain, and some of the Hellions, and a Reaper, and now he's going Banshee, and a Viking. I mean, he's just starting his extra barracks. He doesn't have any upgrades anywhere, so Jaedong doesn't even really need to be that efficient in this game. There's already so many losses that have been brought on, and what a gorgeous Zergling counterattack timing.
Yeah, I love that the Zerglings are circling around here, and we actually do see that there is a depot wall, but they will spot this 3rd CC, and that's really important. If you look at that production tab, too, you can see that Jaedong's intention is to do a Roach Baneling bust, and this is pre-layer, of course, so this is really nice play. And this one Banshee...
Oh, no!
It doesn't have enough missiles to do it, really.
Yeah, I mean, like, this Banshee is going to be able to witness that which will kill off everything. I mean, Hart is in golden shape right now. Or, excuse me, Jaedong's in golden shape. Hart is going to lose, possibly, right now.
I was going to say, explain, Sean. I don't understand. We have a lot of Banelings going down, 14 of them, in fact, and actually there's already some completed. Jaedong, I love you, baby. I love you so much. I was saying that he needed to do more of this kind of stuff, and it looks like he'll do just that. The depot's getting cracked down. The bunkers are narrowly... Nope, they're not going to be able to finish. There's just one, but even so, there's a single Marine in it, so not a big deal. And this Banshee's got a lot of work, because she's got to kill everything.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Jaedong marching up the top of the ramp. In that workers killed tab, 16 have gone down at 63 to 36. And, oh god, Jaedong walks in and sees that both the engineering bays have only just now finished. So Jaedong now knows that he too is ahead in upgrades. I mean, every edge you can have right now as Zerg is going to the Dong. Right now, I mean, Jaedong doesn't need to worry about Hellion harass. He can begin spreading the creep. He can begin taking another base.
And this is what I like about this opening so much. I mean, we talked about it. You know, the Widow Mine was on the high ground. Hart did have a CC as part of his wall, which ends up being pretty cool because he would have just lost more depots or a bunker. So he was able to tank that quite well. So Jaedong is very successful with this attack, but it's obviously not over yet. But look where Jaedong's at. He's at 20 supply. As you said, his creep is protected. He's got Roach Tech, so there's no way in hell that's going to actually, you know, change anytime soon. He's going to have later mutas, but this game's timing is altered. Now this, from Hart, actually I'm going to stop myself. That's interesting. He's actually shoving out anyways.
I mean, you really can't discount how excellent those mines are. I mean, with the entire Zerg army gone, and you know there's a little bit of delay in layer, what can you really have right now? It looks like only 20 Zerglings. What a brilliant timing from Hart.
But I love this 15 Roach response from Jaedong. They don't have speed. You can see that's just now being queued up. This attack's great from Hart. I mean, I think this is actually going to get the 3rd base, if not more. But the Roaches should be able to clean this up quite nicely. And the Zerglings of Jaedong have stopped the 3rd from mining. But that's it. Beautiful timing attack here from Hart.
Getting up into the back, dealing damage, target firing the hatch. Jaedong's trying to keep it alive. We're seeing that 1-1 not quite done. Roaches are coming out in decent quantities. The Banshee falls. And I think Jaedong's going to be able to barely hold this off. And once again, all the advantages in Jaedong's favor. 67 to 47 workers. There are 2 Widow Mines out at the front side. Those will be picked off momentarily. Third base, completely unsafe right now for Hart.
Yeah, Hart's he's an aggressive guy, so he's actually going to move out here. But part of my concern with that, Sean, is that when he's so focused on being aggressive and out on the map, we see things slipping by. Like, there's no depot wall at that third. And Jaedong's a guy, too. He reminds me of July Zerg in this regard, where he's like, wait a second. There's a hole in your defenses. I will not forget about this all game long. Look at that. 3 roaches rolling up here. And they're probably just going to well, actually, it looks like they're going after CC first, but they could do a lot of damage.
Oh gosh, they need to do exactly what you were going to say, one-shot those workers. Jaedong defending attacks, deflecting as best he can. I mean, his focus clearly not on the attacking, but on staying alive, because this is how he continues to lose in all these high-profile matches. But I mean, Jaedong is looking very strong in this matchup overall. Right now, his North expansion's under some fire, will definitely go down, even with these Lynx reinforcements coming in. I mean, Hart is doing the general look of what gets Terran players ahead, which are these constant, relentless drops. Really can't do much about them without Mutalisks as the Zerg.
No, he needs some form of anti-air. He's got a very fast-paced army, a lot of Lings, Roaches with speed now. But as you're saying, I mean, these exchanges are not going in favor of Jaedong in the sense that he's constantly kind of losing a hatch here, following up there. And all things considered in the background, Hart has actually taken this third and is now starting to mine from it. There is the beginning of that depot wall. But even the bigger problem here, too, still, is Jaedong doesn't have an exit strategy. You can see he's actually going mid-map, and he's saying, I'm going to leave behind a cater of Zerglings or something. But that's it. I mean, that's his anti-air. He doesn't have much else.
Oh, Jaedong not getting a good surround.
Oh, the friendly fire.
The mines. Great job walking into the mines, and as you say, the friendly fire dealt more damage to Hart than it really seemed to be doing to Jaedong. There's no offensive counters by Hart. He has some medevacs in position. He's just now kicking him into high gear, but Jaedong is doing such a great invasion at this front line. More of Hart's workers are just getting ripped to shreds.
Yeah, he's using them as some kind of body block at the front here, but it is costing him all those harvesters. The third is getting ravaged right now by Lings. The natural seems to be going down. These roaches are hitting their sweet spot. As the game goes on and the medevac count grows, they become very ineffective. But for right now, their natural armor and, of course, the armor upgrade that Jaedong has given to them, it's making them top dog right now, and Hart's having a tough time managing.
Well, looks like Jaedong will lose 1 hatch at this third. His main is also looking pretty spare on the drone count. Kind of a weird base trading situation. 15 workers for Hart versus 50 for Jaedong. You don't really need a lot of workers to keep up the aggressive bio-mining, so there's a lot of potential for Hart to kind of step back into this. But
yeah,
with that Spire finishing up in 2,000 in the bank,
and that's,
Jaedong could begin to flood up more mutas.
He's going to need a lot of minerals. He's taking the bottom right-hand side as his only 4th base now. Main base not mining, as you said. I mean, he's got the gases there, sure. Severe drone advantage is in his favor, though, right now. And Hart does have 3 orbitals, sure. But mule jokes aside, they're not going to make up this difference. In fact, I love what Jaedong's doing, too. He has a burrowed Zergling underneath that third just to be the one final salt to the wound, insult to injury, all that stuff. But we see Hart's army. It's in position to be well adjusted to the Mutalist tech. I mean, we have Widow Mines, we have Marines. It's not like he just has Marauders.
Yeah, I mean, God, I hate to say it, with all the damage that Jaedong did early on, he is not looking good right now. Yeah. He really needs to step into high gear. He needs to get those Mutalisks built, and God, 4 at a time ain't going to do it.
No, he also needs Banelings. We got a lot of Marines coming mid-map. Scans are going to go down to fight back this creep, and I think that is honestly a necessity from Hart, but man, is it painful. Every single scan is 1 less mule. And again, when you're on such a low economy like he is, only 25 harvesters, each mule is absolutely precious. This Viking was harassing. We have a drop at 12 o'clock as well. We got to keep our eye on that. But that anti-air is coming out. We have only the 4 mulists at first, but now 2. And we do have Banelings with speed just now starting on. Also a painful kind of lapse in judgment there as well.
This is looking very bad. I mean, already in Jaedong's point of view, we're starting to see the Mulist count begin to get high, but it's just not useful until it gets extremely high. I mean, the pathfinding is so good in StarCraft that Marines don't get isolated in clumps of 1 or 2. They get isolated in clumps of 7 or 8, so you need a lot of mules to pick them off profitably. Nice pickup from Jadon getting off this medevac up at the top side, but we're starting to see Hart using it as a ploy to scan up in mid. Hart already reestablishing his third base, was down to 15 workers, now at 33. Doesn't sound like a lot, but considering Jadong has been pretty low on his supply as well.
You know, one of the tough things for Hart is his army is more fearsome, for sure. The Marauders can tank the Banelings really well. There are Widow Mines here. His Marines are hitting decent upgrades at 2 attack, 1 armor. But the counterattack ability for Jadong is quite powerful, and actually you can see that Hart's moving in to employ countermeasures. His third base is essentially his main mining hub. His Natural's actually painfully not mining right now. What the hell's going on? You guys got to get to work. We're going to have a big engagement top right side, or top 12 o'clock. Bailey's connecting with a lot of the Marines.
Jeez. Just rips them down. Mutilus count, not very high overall, but absolutely enough to deal with the rest of this Jadong. Wow. Had just barely enough time to get those Mutilus up, and what a difference they're making. I mean, he rolled through that army like it was nothing.
Sean, look at the Natural, just so you can join in me with this OCD pain club I got going on right now. This is, thank God he relieved it, okay? I was actually just transfixed on it, but Jadong gets a decisive victory up there, and honestly, that almost seals the deal. If Hart is on 4 or 5 bases with a great economy, those are the kinds of engagements that he could say, okay, well, that sucked, but I'm still alive. As it is right now, oh no, this drop's actually getting chased down right now as well. The boost should allow him to do some damage, but just some.
Well, I mean, some damage is a lot less than Hart needs right now. Hart, who looked like he was playing from behind and then started to really even things up, is now just on the verge of defeat. The instant the Mutilus popped out, Hive coming up from Jadong, he's not even going to worry about the Infestor tech at this point in time. He has such a tremendous lead with his mid-game units. Mine's being a little bit annoying in the middle, but the Biomine force is not in large quantities.
And this is where Day 9, well, yeah, you shine here too, but I'm at Jadong. I like the multitask we have from the burrowed Baneling traps. This is a way to tax the Terran again. He has to scan to move out there, but he's now one misscan away from being completely removed from the game. I mean, as it is right now, we can see Jadong does have a massive advantage, but he still could potentially lose. But with those Baneling traps, that diminishes that ability for him to lose. It starts to kind of dwindle, and suddenly Jadong is using all the tools that he needs to take this win.
Oh, and here's a big opportunity to deal some sick damage. I'm going to let it go down. He can always just do a counterattack with all these Mutilus at this point.
There's the next trap, too. Yeah, he's going to go ahead and get some damage. He's got a lot of mutas here. There's a Marines bastion here trying to hold back, but that's not much. There's a good number of Widow Mines out here. Well, there was a lot of good Widow Mines.
He's going to be retreating straight into that pack of Banelings. It doesn't even matter. Mutilus swinging from the backside, and Hart is going to get completely and totally overrun. GG. Jadong brings EGTL to 3-1.
3-1, which means they're at match point. If they win one more, they will take this match versus Axiom and close the door on their hopes and dreams. Axiom, they had their hope in here. I mean, Alicia gave them a nice, exciting match. Hart had his TVZ. He put Jadong to the brink. I mean, a really cool game. It was down to... With that first Roach Bust, I was like, oh, well, this is just completely over. But then Hart claws his way back in through great drop play and just tenacious defense at home. But, man, that 12 o'clock engagement, did that seal the deal or what?
Indeed it did. It was just a series of really nice moves from Jadong. I mean, Hart, I think the biggest disruption he did was in that mid-game delaying the Spire. But once we saw it pop out and Jadong just got a few Mutilisks, tides turn fast, which means that everything now rests on the shoulders of Crank.
And I'm excited for this because, Sean, you talked about it earlier. It's a PvP, and Crank has gotten these PvPs almost every single draw. We saw a PvZ from him. It comes to mind. Actually on this map, I believe. But JYP, an excellent PvP player, but does he know Crank? Does he know what to expect? Will he sniff it out? Does it matter? Some of these cheeses actually can be scouted and still work when your conductor is Crank, a guy that's very skilled there. So we got a very exciting PvP coming down for you guys. A lot is at stake. Axiom needs a win here. They need a win here to get to Ryung versus Xenocider, which... No slight to Xenocider, but Ryung is the heavy favorite there. So there's a potential 2-game slide where we could go to that ace match. So stick around. We're going to do a quick commercial break. When we come back, it's going to be an awesome PvP.